Action Audio presents an unabridged recording of the Rhodora Letters by Rosemary Says, née Rothschild. Foreword by Sir John Margeson, KCMG. Read by David and Nikki Says, and preface, introduction and finale read by Rosemary Says, aged 95. Foreword by Sir John Margeson, KCMG. Colonial administrator and diplomat. The White Highlands of Kenya, the last area of the world the British attempted to colonize and settle, have always had a certain romance about them. The natural beauty of the landscape, the colourful Kenyan tribes, the wealth of wild game, and the farming potential of the land attracted settlers from 1897. That was the year when the third Lord Delamere, the central figure in the history of the White Highlands, fell in love with the country. Lord Delamere devoted his life to establishing a white dominion on the African equator. It was a dream that failed. It is not surprising that this short but colourful 60 years of imperial history should have produced some remarkable literature. Nor is it surprising that women, who played a very important role in it, should have written the major works by which the White Highlands are remembered today. Karen Blixen's Out of Africa, Elspeth Huxley's White Man's Country, and Beryl Markham's West with the Night, to name but three. Rosemary Says, who now joins this band of authors, makes no literary claims for the Rhodora Letters. It is a book which records in a straightforward way the day-to-day life of Rosemary and her husband Tony, as they turn 2,800 acres of Kenya into a highly productive farm, with the finest Guernsey herd in the country. The book has the feel of Kenya, instantly recognizable. It is the genuine article. Rosemary does not boast, but I and many others who knew Rhodora can vouch for its fame as perhaps the most beautiful and successful private farm in all East Africa. Capital investment, agricultural know-how, and hard work produced the miracle. That is apparent from the book. What is less obvious is the great courage and determination of Rosemary and Tony Says, typical of so many Kenyan farmers as they kept going through difficult years. Only those with first-hand experience of Kenya in the 1950s know the strain under which isolated farmers and their families lived during the period of Mau Mau. And only those who have farmed in Africa can appreciate the determination necessary to overcome the difficulties of both nature and man. I hope that the Rhodora Letters will help to correct the all-too prevalent image of life in Kenya, which derives from the Happy Valley set, a very small group of settlers much given to drink, drugs, and sexual promiscuity. Happy Valley did nothing for Kenya except to give it a bad name. The real world of white settlement is to be found elsewhere in the serious farmers portrayed in this book, who form the backbone of the white community. The poignancy of the Rhodora Letters lies in the ever-increasing success of the farm, set against the threat of extinction by a political process, which in time brought the whole story to an end. Rosemary Says writes of the desolation and disintegration of all we had achieved on our farm. Characteristically, she shows absolutely no bitterness. On the contrary, what shines through the book is the sheer fun of the adventure and the memory of a remarkable achievement in a beautiful land.
Many of you who read this book may think that the way of life in Kenya during the 1948 to 62 period, the twilight years before Uhuru independence, was privileged and leisurely. I would like to put on record certain facts to clarify the reality of the situation. You will see from the introduction that we visited Kenya in 1947, and Tony fell in love with the beauty and call of the country. Staying with Freddie and Vi Ward during the evening meal of our first night, Freddie said, "Rosemary, we are delighted you are considering coming to live here, but we are laughing at the idea of your becoming a settler." I remember thinking, what does he mean? In time I was to find out, and I think to prove him wrong. The British government had encouraged people to settle and to make Kenya their life and home. We found everyone we met firmly believed this. Naturally, we believed it too. Day-to-day life did not just consist of an equable climate, freedom from political worries, and comradeship in the white community. It consisted of construction, trying to run things more competently, teaching, showing the way. As far as we were concerned, it was this challenge that fired Tony's imagination into making the decisions to be there, which I fully endorsed. I too found myself caught up in the fascinating procedure of building up the farm into an efficient, worthwhile place, constantly trying to improve the land and the lot of the Africans who worked for us. To those people who think that life must have been easy, I can assure them it was very hard work, but fun, with no clouds for the first years, though they gathered slowly but surely. Change eventually became inevitable, but we have come in good faith, and it was a shock to us all, especially to those who had lived there for 2 or 3 generations. We could not continue as we had before. The partnership we hoped for was not possible, and gradually we realized that the Africans wanted Kenya to belong to them alone. I hope that these letters, which Tony and I wrote together, will stand as a testament of our love for each other, for Rhodora, and for Kenya itself.